with the painted cicada. I'm just going to make sure I'm showing up where I am supposed to be. There I am. Okay. Perfect. So hello, everybody. I am so glad that you are with me today. We are going to make this super fun mixed media art piece with fun neon colors. Hi, Melanie. Hi, Joni. I'm so glad you're here. Today has been like a super crazy day, so I am excited that I get to join you tonight because art is my piece. So I just need to take a deep breath and get messy with some paint today. So let me go over really quick the supply list here and let me add in my desktop. There we go. Okay. So the supply list, super flexible this evening, but I created on an 8x8 canvas. This was a stretched canvas. Tonight I'm going to create on a canvas board. Super flexible either way. If you don't have a canvas, create on a heavy piece of paper. That's fine too. Like make it your own. Make it your own. I'm going to use, I've got this oil and acrylic paper here, which is really just canvas paper. But again, if you don't have canvas paper, just use paper. That's cool too. You are going to want, I'm going to use acrylic paint colors, and at the end, we're going to see what it looks like under a black light, because we've had a lot of black light fun this month. So you'll want some acrylic paints. I've got a few different kinds. You can use really, you can use anything. If you don't have acrylic, no worries. These Masters Touch acrylic work really well. I think Masters Touch is Hobby Lobby brand. I did get these from, I don't know if anybody goes to Plaza Art Supply or if you have one of those near you, but I do not like these. I'm not using these. But my favorite are the Deco Art Blacklight Neons. So I am going to pull those out. I'm probably not going to use all the colors that I pull out, but better to have them and not need them than want them and not have them, right? That's what I say about all art supplies. And then I'm going to use a white paint pen. Posca pens are one of my absolute favorite. They're not acrylic, but they work really well on top of acrylic, so I like these. But any white paint pen, actually any paint pen that will show up on black will work. And then I've got a palette knife. If you don't have a palette knife, just an old credit card or a store card will work as well. Basically anything you can use to scrape, even an old spatula will work. And that's it. So, where's my supply list? Oh, hello, Tammy's here. Melanie's here, Joni's here. Okay, so the oil and acrylic paper. That is a great question, Joni. Let me show that. Yes. This oil and acrylic paper, pull it up. It's actually, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on the canvas, but it's, or on the canvas, on the camera. It's got a texture. It is almost like canvas paper. So it's got that weird texture to it, and it's like a coated paper so that it's not really absorbent. Mixed media paper is, and watercolor paper. This is 136 pounds, so it's thick like watercolor paper, but it's not absorbent. Or mixed media paper. Watercolor and mixed media will absorb. This will not. So that's the only difference. As far as weight, it's about the same weight. But this is basically, I buy this oil and acrylic paper because I like to paint a lot with acrylics, and I do a lot of painting for myself. Just as a hobby for fun, to keep my sanity. And I don't like to create on canvases all the time because then I've got a million canvases and nowhere to put them. So this is like a nice alternative, and it's easy to put it in a frame, or just to keep it, you know, in the journal here. So that's what that is. It's not too expensive, but it's a wonderful, wonderful canvas alternative. So I'm glad that you asked about that. I could go on and on about art papers. Yes, okay. So you're going to want to get your 8x8 canvas. This was not the best idea I had to create on black, so I'm going to put my canvas on top of my white paper for now. So the supply list said a black canvas. So if you don't have a black canvas, go ahead and paint your canvas black now. You can paint it with just plain black acrylic is fine. Or if you've got black gesso, you can use black gesso. You just want to get it nice and dark, and that way your neons will pop when we put the hearts on. I'm actually going to make my face a little smaller because nobody wants to see that, right? Hello, Jan. Oh, it's so nice to see everybody. I always feel like I'm missing comments. So if you make a comment and I miss it, I am so sorry. Like I said, crazy day. I need to just take a deep breath, right? Forgot to put my bracelet on. I always have a bracelet. I don't know if y'all have ever noticed. I always have a bracelet on when I'm painting. Today I am loved. I always put it on to remind myself. All right, so step one, if your canvas is not black already, go ahead and paint that black. And then set it aside to dry. I'm also gonna, what I should have done was add my sample here. It's a little graphic on the side, but I'll show this one more time. I'm gonna set that to the side. And then after your canvas is black, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a palette knife and paint some fun neon colors on this paper. The type of paper you use is not as important as the fact that you just need to have some paper to work on. Let me get my palette here. All right, so the important part when we're doing this is that we're not going to mix, we're not going to mix colors that make brown together. So that's the only thing that you really need to keep in mind when we're creating this. So yellow and blue make green. Those are safe. Blue and pink make purple. Those are safe. Oops. Yellow and pink will make orange. Those are safe. Colors that are next to each other on the color wheel are safe to use next to each other. So blue and green make blue green. Yellow and green make yellow green. Pink and green make brown. We're not going to want to put pink and green next to each other. Orange. Orange and pink, safe. Orange and yellow, safe. Orange and blue. Orange and blue make brown. Don't put those next to each other. Orange and green. Don't put those next to each other. So the easiest way to do this is just to set colors aside that you don't want to use or don't want to mix. Choosing blue, pink, and yellow. I never know what camera to look at. Blue, pink, and yellow are safe bets because all three of these are primaries and they'll mix well. So that's what I'm going to use tonight. In my sample, I did use all colors, and like you can see down here a little bit where the blue and the orange, it's a little muddy, but I was careful not to make brown. So if you're feeling brave, you can use all your colors. If you want to copy what I'm doing, you can just use pink, yellow, and blue. Just gonna get some of that out. Fail. My yellow wasn't mixed up. I hate when I do that. Does anybody else do that either? Or do that too? Forget to mix up your paint and then you just get the unmixed blob of clear, I don't know what you call it. Paint snot. Paint grossness. Let's try that again. So pink, yellow, and blue. And actually, pink, yellow, and blue. I have a whole, I can go off on a whole tangent about this. But magenta, cyan, and yellow are actually true primaries instead of red, blue, and yellow. You will get more true colors when you mix magenta, cyan, and yellow when you're color mixing. Just a little tip. All right, so I'm going to start here. I'm going to do one color at a time, and I'm basically just going to have fun and smear this around. This part is not complicated at all. It's messy, it's fun. Channel your inner child and just go for it. So you're going to want to cover, I don't know, maybe a third to a half of the page with each color. You're going to want them to overlap, right? So I've got my pink on here. And when I use my palette brush and I smear, it makes it really thin. So parts of this dry quickly and some parts where it's thicker stay wet. And that's kind of what I'm going for, because what's going to happen is when I come back through with my next color, some of these are going to mix. So I've got my pink on there. Next, I'm going to come in with my yellow. When I used to teach kindergarten, I always had kids that used to say lello instead of yellow. Next, I'm going to go through with my lello. Just add some. You want to cover some of that white, but then you also want to add some on top of the pink and just play with it. This is really freeing just to get in and just smear, and mix and have fun with your colors. I bet you can guess what comes next, y'all. It's the blue. Eventually, I'm going to want all of the white gone. So I'm going to come in with this blue and make sure that I'm doing that. And when I'm adding the blue, you'll see I really didn't need to use that green because the blue will mix with that yellow and make some green. Just like I've got some orange in there. Oops. Got some orange in there from mixing the pink and the yellow. So we are just smearing and having a good old time. What you don't want to do is over blend. So try not to like scrape over and over and over and over. Just use small fun strokes. Now that I've got all three colors, I can come back through and just use up all my paint, make sure I'm getting rid of a lot of this white, because this is the paper that I'm going to cut my hearts out of. There is something relaxing about mixing paint. I One of my favorite things to do actually is color mixing. I kind of love it. I used to, when I started teaching, I really only had like the primary colors, and I would use, you know, like gold and silver and white and black, but I rarely used all the secondary and tertiary colors or like premixed colors. Like now I have a whole 4-tier rack of all the deco art paints, and I love them, and they're super easy to use. But I loved color mixing. But when I was teaching, I found like people I was teaching did not like color mixing as much as I did. It was very frustrating. So I enjoy it, and I like to experiment with it. And there's kind of a pleasure for me that comes with like getting the color that I envision. But it can be frustrating too. Oh no, okay, let's see. I'm glad you're here. Okay, somebody just found me. Let me see. I can't see your name in the comments. You will have to give StreamYard permission. Let's see. Let's see if I can find you. So I am going live tonight. I am in the Painted Soul Creative Journey. This lesson is from the Painted Cicada. So I am going both live in the Painted Cicadas group and Painted Soul Creative Journey group. So I just post in both places so that everybody can enjoy the lesson. So no rush. What we're doing tonight, if you're just joining, is we're creating this just mixed media hearts. That's these neon hearts. So the replay will be available both in my group and in the group that I'm teaching in tonight, the Painted Soul Creative Journey, as well. So you can watch it on the replay. So there's no stress, no worries. The supplies that we're using tonight, you just need a canvas. I'm using canvas paper, which is also sometimes called oil and acrylic paper, and neon paint. And we're creating just some fun neon mixed media playtime. All right. So step one was make sure that you've got a black canvas here. Step two, we used a palette knife and smeared on lots and lots of neon color onto our paper. Now I need this to dry, so I'm going to set this aside and clean up my mess. No stress, no worries, y'all. If you didn't know about the event, just pop in later and watch it on the replay, and we'll have a good old time. No worries. Art is meant to be fun. All right. So I'm going to show you a little trick while we're waiting. This is not really, I didn't give you a supply list to do this because I know not everybody has vanilla. But I did buy this glow in the dark paint here, or you can use white paint. And what I'm going to do, I did not do this on my sample, but if you want to add a little bit of color, so I need this fun shimmery piece here. And so I need this to dry. So that's why I'm showing you kind of like this little bonus texture. If you are somebody who likes busyness and texture, a little bit of grunge in your art, you can do this. So see, I've got my canvas here. It's hard to see on the black background. And I've got this stencil. And so if you like a little more texture layers, you can come through and just add some white stenciling on your background. And I am using punchinella, which is like the leftovers from when they make sequins. You can find this sometimes in the ribbon section. It makes, you know, really nice big bows as well. Well, I'm glad you found us. I'm sorry that you, what I should have done was, I guess, given out the link. Let me see. I did post on my page as well. So if you got here through my Facebook page with just me, I probably should have posted. That's my bad. Jenny, punchinella is hard to find. So you can get it on eBay. You can get it on Amazon. The only time that I have found it easily in stores is around the Christmas holiday, because a lot of people will use punchinella for like those really big outdoor bows. So it comes like in a roll. It's usually pretty thick, and you can make like big giant bows with it, and it's plastic material, so it's great for outdoors. So sometimes craft stores like Michael's and Hobby Lobby will have it, but I've only ever seen it in those stores around the holidays, around Christmas time, because you most often see it on like those big giant outdoor wreaths. But it used to be like really easy to find, like in the 90s. Not so easy to find anymore, but I love it because it just creates this beautiful dotted stencil, and it's flexible. And like I've used this one piece over and over probably 20 or 30 times. So phenomenal. All right, so I'm going to set this aside. I've got this big wet mess here. And for the sake of time and for the sake of not filling the evening with chatter while this dries, I'm going to zap it with my heat gun. But we are going to use this to cut out our heart. Yes, absolutely. You can use a hair dryer. I actually have both. Um, you can use either. Actually, sometimes I use my heat gun when I go online a lot because it tends to pick up less on the mic, where the hair dryer is so much noisier for whatever reason. But yeah, I use the hair dryer a lot. I put my paint on really thick, so that was kind of silly of me to do. If I was really feeling impatient, I could wipe some off. Since we're just working with smears, I'm not worried about this being perfect. I'm going to see if I can't dry most of it. So this is like 75% dry, and I'm just going to come back through and smear this. So this is going to be messier than I anticipated. You'll see it does muddy up some of the colors a little bit. I'm fine with that. I'm just doing that for the sake of time. You don't have to do that if you want to wait. The neon colors are naturally transparent, so I see a lot of white through this, which I really like. So now I'm dried pretty good. I'll give you a little tip. If you do have any colors that went muddy, just grab some of your neon paint and just hide it a little bit. Like I'm just going to smear a little bit of this purple right on top. So anywhere I've got muddiness or like places that I really don't like, if you've got anything that turned brown, just smear a color over the top. When you're working, especially with mixed media, there's no permanent mistakes. It's just an opportunity for another layer. So just throw some more color on there. If you smear with your finger, usually it's thin enough that it'll dry pretty quickly. Yeah, so if you have brown bits, just grab a color and add some color on top. Whatever color you feel like maybe is missing a little bit. But we're not in any hurry tonight, so yeah, like if you're seeing brown, let it dry and then just add some color. Hide it. There's nothing wrong with that. Layer, layer, layer. That's the beauty of mixed media. And I didn't mention this earlier, but if you don't have a palette brush, there's no reason you couldn't have finger painted. Like, don't be afraid to make it work for you. Just dropped my green. My green rolled away on me. Multitasking. Pick that baby up with my toes, I did. All right, I think I'm mostly dry here. So what we want to do now is cut the hearts. And I'm going to give you a little secret. Okay, so I'm lazy and I'm not going to, I don't want to cut out individual hearts. So I am going to fold this in half. We are going to make, as you can see on the sample here, we have 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15 hearts that we need to make. So I need 8 hearts on here. And what I'm going to do is find a piece of scrap paper. I've always got scrap paper. I don't know if y'all have scrap paper, but I have scrap paper everywhere. So I'm going to cut just a heart out of scrap paper. That way I can use it as a template so that all my hearts are the same. And in order for this to work, if you're using an 8x8 canvas, you don't really want your heart to be any wider than like 1.5 inches-ish, so that they all fit. And that is both tall and wide. So you might need to trim it up a little bit. Yeah, this will work. So yeah, you don't need to measure it, but you just want to, when you cut out your tracing heart here, you just want to kind of make sure that you can fit 4 across and 4 down. And if you're using a different size, that's how I kind of figure it out. I don't want to mess like with the ruler and all that, so I just cut it and then kind of make sure it fits. Go from there. And then I'm going to trace. I need 8 of these. And since I've got this folded, cutting out 8 will give me 16. If you end up doing 9, you'll have some extra and you can pick out your favorites. So I'm just going to trace this on here 8 times. Yes, having a template, I eyeball a lot of things, but when I'm working with repetition, I like things to be nice and what's the word? Consistent. Because when you are repeating elements, it's really noticeable. Sorry, my daughter came in. She says, "Are you doing a class?" Yeah, that's why I got all my stuff on, girl. I've got teenagers. I don't know if anybody else has teenagers, but they respect no boundaries. So now my door's open. I got 2 dogs and a teenager in here. Sure, go get a treat and just bribe him and take the dogs out of the room. Shut my door. You're now an interruption. Thank you, dear. Sorry, this is my life. I only have a certain level of professionalism because I have teenagers. And they respect no boundaries. I even have a cute little sign on my door that says I'm recording. Doesn't work. Yes, my cat's like the only one in the house that leaves me alone. He never comes to my art desk, Melanie. He used to, like, before the big C word happened, before all this COVID shenanigans, when working online was still kind of new. I always have done online classes, but I didn't do them to the extent that I do now, like with lives all the time. I've got something going on pretty much every day. So like back in the day, I think like I wasn't at my computer quite so much. And so my cat thought it was cool to like come in and see what I was up to. Now I'm on my computer all the time and he could care less. He wants nothing to do with it. Linda, am I saying your name right? Is it right? Am I right that you are joining us this evening? You were overseas, I believe, right? Like, was it Australia? Are you in Australia somewhere? I feel like I remember seeing your name and associating you with the farawayness. Oh yeah, this part is kind of slow and methodical. Linda. That's a beautiful name. I like that. We've got lots of Lindas. I know lots of Lindas. But Linda is a nice variation. I like that. Melbourne. Well, welcome. I'm in Ohio, US. Ohio is not very exciting. I'm sure Melbourne is much, much more exciting. So my business name is the Painted Cicada. I think in England they call them cicadas. But do you have those? Do you have cicadas in Melbourne? Otherwise, you're probably like, well, who's this crazy lady with this weird business name? You do? Very cool. Yeah, lockdown. The states were pretty much open. It's a good thing for people's sanity, but I don't know. I have become much more comfortable at home these days. And, I don't want to. Yes, Melanie, they are very noisy. Very, very noisy. I don't want to start a big mask debate, but nobody in my town wears masks, and I think I get a little nervous going back out. I don't know if it's just me personally. Like, I don't know. I'm vaccinated, but I'm scared. I'm overweight. Not the healthiest person in the world, so it scares me a little bit. But my kids are back in school. They were not enjoying being home. So I'm glad that worked out for them, that they're back in school. Hi, Mom. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, so cicadas are super noisy. Here in Ohio, we have periodical cicadas. So they come out every 17 years. One of my first experiences with them, I am from Massachusetts. I did 16 hearts so that I could throw out the one I didn't like. Actually, I've got 17 because I just kept on going. So you need actually 15 total. So I cut out a few extras so that if there were hearts I didn't like, since I wasn't looking at the pattern while I was cutting. Like if you've got one that's really schmeary, like this one's kind of brown, I might toss that one, substitute that one in. Yeah, so pick the ones that you like, but you need 15 total because we're gonna remove one here in the corner and add a little word. Hi Stephanie, how are you? See, I'm all over the place tonight. So I was talking about cicadas. So I moved from Massachusetts to Ohio, and one of my first experiences was a cicada year, and they were like everywhere. They were swarmed all over the place, like they were not attacking people because they don't attack, but they were just like on the sides of buildings. Like they would be completely covered, like almost like ivy, like everywhere. Anyway, so I thought it was just a really cool experience. I really like cicadas. A theme in my life personally has been kind of reemerging, the idea of reemergence, or finding myself, reinventing myself. So cicadas are very meaningful to me personally. That's where the name came from. All right, so we've got 15 hearts, and I'm going to show you how I figure out where to place them. Before I do that, I just want a piece of white paper just so you can see my edges here. All right. So 15 hearts, no rush. The rest of this is not very complicated. It's super easy. So I've got my canvas here. I'm actually, for the most part, done with my paint. So let me get that out of the way. See if I can pull in my staple. There, so you can see both. So this one here is completely black on the background. You can see I do have a little texture, so I did gesso. I didn't use the white punchinella, but I did gesso, and then I used acrylic for the punchinella. So if you see like a little bit of dots, that's what's going on there. Hi, Debbie. I'm glad you're here. All right, so next what we're going to do is adhere these hearts onto our canvas. And before I do that, I like to set them up. So basically, I'm going to put hearts in each corner. And I'm going to line them up. So we need 4 in a row. And I start with my edges. That way I make sure everything fits. And that kind of sets up the rows. Like I said, I don't need to use no stinking ruler. I'm just eyeballing this. And you do that by lining up your corners. And then once you have your corners, you can do your edges. And then once you've got your edges, you know where your inside hearts go. You can line them up. And you're going to need 15, and we leave this bottom right corner empty. So after you've got it lined up, just put them there. Now, you can glue them on with a few different, oh my gosh, my accent, my crazy accent. I have a mix of, so, you know, in the States, we've got like all these, you know, different parts of the country have different accents. So I have a little bit of Boston. So you notice that sometimes when I say box, or I was joking with my kids the other day, I said the word car really funny, and they laughed at me. But here in Ohio, we have like this weird, it's like a mix of like the northern accent of the United States is so different from southern, kind of a southern country accent. And I've got like this weird mix of everything. So I just sound strange all the time. All right, so how you glue this on, totally up to you. You can use white glue, you can use a glue stick. Mod Podge will work. If your paper is really thick, you might struggle with that a little bit. Matte medium or gloss, gel, decoupage medium. Yeah, it's like Minnesota. Yeah, I love hearing all the different accents. I'm part of so many, you know, I'm in this group. I'm just going to use my glue stick for this, I think. I'm in this group here, and I love presenting in groups, but I love being an art student. So I get away with taking a lot of art classes because I do this as a business. And it's my excuse for self-care, right? Like, I need self-care and I need to keep my skills sharp. So I take lots and lots of classes. So I love to hear everybody's accents. I take classes from people in the UK. There's a woman named Tracy Verdugo. I don't know where she's from. She's got a beautiful accent. She might be from Australia. Jane Davenport also has a beautiful accent. Tamara Laporte. But I love hearing all these beautiful accents from my art friends all over the world. So yeah, I'm just gluing these on with a glue stick, nothing fancy. And if you do want to seal it, you can always add a layer of Mod Podge or varnish over the top. Yes, girl, therapy. Art is my therapy. It probably wouldn't hurt me to go get real therapy. I'm not gonna lie. There are some days I just feel like I'm losing my sanity. Probably need a therapist. But in the meantime, art is my therapy. Yes, it is. There are some days, I know I just need to get my stuff out and create. So I'll sit down at my computer and sometimes just browsing for something to do, browsing for a class or browsing for ideas, is therapy enough to calm my soul. Sometimes I don't even actually have to get out my stuff. Yeah, well, I'm glad you found this lesson in this group. Lots of goodies. Sometimes when I need something, I mean, I am never bored because we've got presentations in this group all the time. Ugh. My throat is hurting. Too much talking. My kids would tell me I'd never be quiet. All right, sorry, I'm shaking my camera, but just make sure your edges are down. Add more glue if you need to. All right. And then the last step, guys, is we're just going to add a word down here. Now here on my sample, I just used white. I'm using a Posca paint pen. Any paint pen will work. You could also use these jelly rolls will work well. I also use these Arteza paint pens. A white one, any white paint pen will work. Poscas are my favorite. I'm actually going to go over this with a color since I put some stenciling here. But the word that I chose on this one is grateful. Oh my gosh, my dogs. Let me show you my babies. So you hear barking. This is my Magnum, my Thomas Sullivan Magnum. Oh my gosh, and Eddie. So I mentioned teenagers. I guarantee you somebody door dashed some food and that's why they're barking. Eddie, come here. Hi. You don't need to bark. I apologize for the dogs, but they are a part of my house and my life. They will always be in my art studio, so come here. You want a treat? I'll give you a treat, and then you can be quiet. How about that? I'll bribe you. There you go, sweetie. So they're my babies. They listen to me better than my teenagers, so I got to take care of them. All right, so on this one, I use the word grateful. Over here, just to shake it up, I might use the word love, and I'm going to do this in my own handwriting, and I encourage you to use your own handwriting because it's part of who you are. So usually, like, I'll go in and I'll sketch the word out first. You're gonna have a hard time seeing this because I'm doing white on white. That was really dumb on my part to put the stencil here. So I will go back over this with the color. But I'm going to write the word love here. And then, oh my gosh, seriously? My kids, y'all, they just opened the door and stuck my other dog in here. You're hopeless. They are hopeless. I need to get one of those, like, lights that people have in recording studios that, like, blink and say, recording. All right, so I added my word love there, just like grateful here. And so that I can see it different from the white, I'm just going to add some color. I'll do pink. So I'm just going to do this with a really thin brush. Dogs. I don't know. I'm a dog person. Y'all are cat people. You're probably like, this woman's crazy. All right. So there we go. Because this is transparent, I'm going to dry it and add another layer just so it pops. Oh, Charlotte, you're not a cat or a kid person. I'm not a kid person. I ended up with 6. We've got six young people in our house, and they're all teenagers. 6 of them. My daughter's name is Charlotte, so I love your name. My mom's name is Charlotte. I think it's the best name ever. All right, so I'm just doing a second coat on my word just so I can see it better. You might not have to do that. And if you just use white and your background was black, you probably didn't need to do a second coat at all. But I had to go and shake things up, see? As soon as I finish this, I'm going to turn on my black light and we're going to see what this looks like in the black light. Charlotte helps us in this group. And I'm fairly new, so I'm still kind of learning the ropes and stuff. So she pops in sometimes and she said she's going to evaluate us. And so, of course, on the day that she's going to pop in, my dogs are like, wow, wow, wow. And my kids are like, I don't care if you're recording. I'm just going to pop in. I don't. It's all right, right, Mom? That's my life. My life is chaos. I have a friend, gosh, I don't even remember the name of our business, but it's like, it has something to do with art if they ask. And I'm like, that is so me. All right, so I'm going to get my black light and I'm going to see what this looks like under a black light. Of course, you don't have to have a black light. One of the reasons, and this internet camera like totally does not show these neons as bright as they are. But these blacklight neons are my favorite. Like in person, they really pop. I'm actually going to flip this around. Oops. Because I wonder if my phone camera, I don't know, it looks the same. But these colors in person, like these cameras are not doing it justice. Not doing it justice at all. They're so bright. Okay. So, excuse me while I stand up and my black light here. And turn off my other lights. These pop so much in the black light. I love it. It's hard to see, like some of these colors on the camera just don't pop like they do in person. But this is so fun. And I still have a light on in my room across the room, so it's not as bright as it could be, but I am loving this. Y'all, issues. I turned off the wrong one. Here we go. I was going for black light. What am I doing? There we go. Now my lights are all off except for the black light. So it's so fun. Yeah, I actually ordered a black light because we're doing neons this month, and I didn't have one. But a really fast, and I forget who suggested it, but somebody in the group suggested that they make just, you know, like regular bulbs that you screw into your light or your lantern. They make those in black light, and they're only, I don't know, they're probably $5 or less. I don't know what that would be overseas, but they're fairly inexpensive. And I got like this bar. It's just like a LED bar with black LEDs, and I got this on Amazon here, and I didn't pay very much for it. It was less than 20. So I just thought it would be a fun toy. So yeah, I think working with neons this month has really stretched my creativity a little bit because I don't usually use the black light. So it's been a fun experience. And like these little dots in the background under the black light are kind of fun. But yeah, I think it's fun, you know, with or without a black light, honestly. I love working with neons. I think I put in my post, like I'm a child of the 80s. I was a child all throughout the 80s, and I wore neons all the time. Like splatter paint and neon, like, oh gosh, my teen years, y'all, it was bad. It was bad. So that is what I have for you this evening. This lesson is super customizable. So you know, if you aren't feeling the neons, you can use this. Just, you know, when you do your scraping, you can use any color palette that you like. I actually wanted to show you. Let me turn this off, and you can get my face. But I made this using the exact same technique. And you'll see it's so different because I use different colors, but I mean, it's just as easy, the exact same process. So don't be afraid to change it up. make it your own, make it something that you love. Yeah, there's lots of really fun blacklight stuff going on this month, and I've been trying to work through it all. There's so many good things, so when I get bored, I pull up a lesson. So don't be afraid if you're new to the Painted Soul Creative Journey group. Dive into the guides. There is so much in there from this month and previous month, and we've got lots of good stuff coming up too. So thank you all for joining this evening, and make sure if you created with us that you post in the group, because that's the best part, is seeing what everybody creates. It's my absolute favorite. I would like to thank you for joining me this evening. If we have not met yet, I am Tara Lynn from the Painted Cicada, so you can follow me on Facebook, and I cannot wait to get creative with you again. I will be back soon. I actually think I have my calendar ready so I could say the right date, and I forgot. But I believe November. I am back Tuesday the 26th at 8 p.m. and I'll be doing a watercolor lesson. I don't have that prepared to show you yet, but it will be in Guide 30. So check that out, and I can't wait to see what you guys have made this evening. See you later, everybody.